Actually, ladies, thank you so much for supporting joining us today as a speaker. As we're still waiting, I think 2-3 minutes. It's already 43 members, but we're still waiting. As I mentioned, there are more than 100 girls who are interested in joining us today. And my name is Yulia. I'm Community and Partnership Manager of Kateryna Biloruska Foundation and especially the FEM program. As I will just very briefly tell about us a little bit, just to give a sense what we're doing and what our mission is as we're waiting for all girls gathering. Just 1 second.
Yeah. I'm getting social media content. Love.
Yeah, just for all participants of today online event, thank you so much for joining us. Could you please drop a line in chat where you're based now and probably who's already from our FEM program or who just recently joined us. And just a few words about us. So FEM is an international leadership program and also community of teen girls aged 14-18, and we're international, but currently most of our members from Europe and also some other region from Middle East and some other countries. And we have two main directions. It's educational programs, both offline and online. We organized FEM camp in Cyprus, and also we launched our community so that, we strongly believe in power of collaboration and women empowerment, and we create also this WhatsApp chat, so to provide more opportunities to communicate, to share ideas, and to build something amazing together. Just a few pictures how previous FEM camp look like. Without really more than just communities, more like sisterhood. And this was an offline program in Cyprus. We are currently working on planning and organizing another one in 2026. So stay tuned for more updates from us. And also currently we are running online program focused on leadership skills. And if someone from FEM online program drop a line in chat, how do you like it? What's the biggest challenges for you? And yeah, we also have some good news as we're planning something special for 2026. So there will be a lot of great news for all the community members, but this was very brief presentation at the beginning. We're going to have more than 600 community members. We slowly add them all to WhatsApp chat and to provide safe space for communication, for exchanging ideas, and then but today we have a very special event, and I'm very, very thankful to beautiful ladies who joined us today as speakers. Nikki, Léonie.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing right?
Léonie.
Léonie. It's so beautiful name.
Yeah.
And Brittany. And I think we have 1 more minute, just final call for all our members in WhatsApp chat, and then we're going to start. It's 62 members now, and chat is, yeah.
So we have Milan and Brighton in England. How cool. So everyone's all over.
All over Europe, yeah.
Wow.
And it just goes to show how global the women's entrepreneurship world is and how we can stay connected. And the fact that we all met in Abu Dhabi and we're reconnecting now. I don't know if we met in person, Léonie, but we briefly met for a split second, Nikki. So
I remember. I know. I can't believe that was We met in the Middle East. That's the first time we
Yes.
met each other. How
Yes.
crazy is that?
Yes, and hopefully
Wow.
we get the chance to reconnect on, in our hometown. So I look forward
Absolutely.
to
Maybe
it.
even LA. That would be
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. That was what an experience. I mean, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know what I was getting into going, but it was obviously being in that completely different culture. But the most impressive thing about that was just sitting at breakfast and hearing everyone's stories that are doing the most incredible things in the entire world. Yeah, coolest experience ever. So I'm glad to know you guys now too.
And you know,
Just so
we try
inspirational
to
overall.
we try to cultivate kind of like this experience also in FEM community, but for
Yeah.
like 13 girls, because in the intersection of different backgrounds and through the common experience, there is always some new ideas come up, some new bonds, and etc. But yeah, I think like it's time to start. So just to start off, can I kindly ask you to briefly share your journey? How has your journey begin? Was the niche in which your company now operates your original passion, or did it came later along the way? So let's start one by one, like up to 5 minutes for everyone. Let's start, Nikki, with you.
Yeah,
Stage is
sure.
yours.
No problem. Yes, hi guys. This is so cool, and I'm so happy to meet all of you. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, in the States. I'm in the South, Music City. I love being here. So I moved here 7 years ago, the day after I graduated university, knowing I just wanted to work in the music industry. I wanted to live on a tour bus and travel around the world touring with these artists working in production. So that was my goal. So I moved here, didn't know a single soul. I lived with strangers and I just networked my butt off. And I eventually got on the road. I toured for years with artists. If you guys like country music, Eric Church, George Strait, there are a few like Weezer, but I worked for like every artist possible, not on the road, but like in venues. So like Justin Bieber and Beyonce and Dolly Parton and any artist I've worked for at this point. And so I loved this life. I was gigging, but I was also staffing. So I was hiring people. And after COVID, going back out on the road, a lot of people left the industry. It was really hard to find enough jobs. It was really hard to find people to fill these jobs also. And so I created the tech company that's kind of like LinkedIn, where you create an online professional resume and people post jobs. Believe it or not, that doesn't exist in our industry. No one has an online resume. No one has a professional presence because these jobs are like working backstage for Beyonce. You can't post that anywhere online. So I created that where it's vetted, it's private, and certified. So everyone on there really knows what the job means. So started that up. We now have 35,000 professionals all over the world, 1,600 companies that have joined, and I've raised money from different investors. That's a whole nother journey in itself. And now we're really becoming a media company. We have a podcast, we have a show, we have educational content, we have events. We're having an event in LA next month in Las Vegas. And so right now, I'm 3 years into this business, and I know we're going to get into it, but I'm telling you right now, I do not know, and I have never known what I'm doing, but we just do it. And we figure it out as we go. And that is what entrepreneurship is. We'll go deeper into it. But I think as all of us are telling our story in our bio, kind of, it's like how? Well, the fact that I'm doing this, you guys, you can all figure it out. So anyways, Brittany or Léonie.
Wow, what the energy to start with. Nikki, thank you so much for sharing how your journey began. And then let's move to next. Léonie, spot the light on the journey in finance for us.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think like everyone here is still in high school, right? So I think maybe let's start my journey in high school. I was the one that is like, I'm interested in everything. If I watch Suits, I want to be a lawyer. If I watch Grey's Anatomy, I want to be a doctor, you know? So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I chose the most broad study there is out there, which is economics and business. And it basically has business administration, finance, it has law courses, marketing. It was so broad. But after my first year, I really noticed, okay, if I want to pass university, I need to do something with numbers because I'm super bad at. So I chose direction finance. But then I saw all the women were gone. So in my class, I was like, okay, I go from 50% women in my class to 30% women in my class. And then I chose my master's, and it was still 30% women in my class. Like, okay, 30%, it's not 50-50, but still okay-ish. But I went to a lot of in-house days, went to big investment banks in London, in Amsterdam, because I'm from Amsterdam. I visited them all. And one thing that I noticed is like, where the hell are the women? I just couldn't find them. And even though there were so many ambitious women in my class, eventually they didn't end up in finance. Just like me, because I eventually end up in strategy consulting. And I always say, if you don't know what you want to do, you just become a consultant. It's just buzzwords. So I ended up in consulting and everyone was talking about it. But I was like, how come that I want to work in finance? And I was so ambitious, but I don't end up there. And then one of my best friends, she did end up in finance. She did end up in a private equity, an investment firm. And there were a lot of women, 3. And they considered that a lot and they were proud of it. So we're like, okay, something has to change. We have demand from the companies because they want more women, but they have no clue how. Like if I was in that interview, I ran away like, I don't want to work here. They don't know how to interview women. And on the other hand, we have the supply because we have so many ambitious women who want to work in the industry. So that's when I started Female X Finance, which is a career and job platform that connects female talent with companies in finance. We really started out with helping students get a first job, but right now we exist for 4 years. So we're also growing along with our community. And we not only help women launch their career in finance, but help them grow. And one of the things we find is very important is we don't want women to have to pay anything because the barrier is already high enough to enter the industry. And companies in finance have a lot of money. So companies pay us to get access to this community and to help us have a more diverse and inclusive finance industry. And the funny thing is, Nikki, when you mentioned you're turning into a media company, we're also turning into a media company because being an entrepreneur is following the money. And what is right now booming is the experience economy. Brands are tapping into communities like crazy right now. So our upcoming event is with Charlotte Tilbury in London, where we do a desk to disco event. So it's not only about finance and technical stuff, it's also about being a woman in finance and owning it.
Wow. It's so important social mission, and it's so important to bridge that gap. And wow, thank you so much for sharing.
Of course. And to all the women also in this call, if you're considering finance or tech, but you look into companies, you think they're all men, don't look at that. Believe in yourself. You can do it too. And really think for yourself, which career is for me, and just go for it.
We will talk about this actually from the second question, as I have it in my list about some choosing career paths and some challenges on the way. But for now, Brittany, stage is yours. So
thank you. And please invite me to that Charlotte Tilbury event because I love that line. I will be there. But hello, everybody. My name is Brittany Diego. I am based in LA, Los Angeles, California. And I've pretty much known all my life that I wanted to work in fashion. I am very fortunate to live in a place that cultivates that career path. And I say that because I knew since I was 10 years old that I wanted to be America's next top fashion designer, right? And so I found out that there is a fashion high school, which is a very LA thing, right? And where does that exist? So I studied studied fashion in high school. I learned about textiles. I learned how to sew. They required us to do internships in our senior year. So I hit the ground running as a teenager working in my field. And that affirmed to me that I was on the right path. And so, of course, naturally, I went to study fashion at university. And there we were required to do internships as well. I worked at this company called BCBG, and they do everything in-house. So there they do the designs, the patterns, the merchandising, and styling. And there I discovered what a stylist even was, because fashion schools, they focus on either merchandising or design, nothing really in between. And I had no idea that there was a job where you get paid to dress up models and be on photo shoots all day. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I just had no idea that that was even an option. And so I dived deep into what styling was all about. Now, of course, I was still at university for design, so I had to finish that program, but I started reaching out to stylists in my area, cold emailing them, offering to help them out just to learn and get experience. So from there, I started affirming this is the path that I actually want to take and not design. And so I started really doing photo shoots, connecting with people, networking with photographers and people in the industry to build my own portfolio. From there, I started working with celebrity clients who would help me build a following. And I started posting it on Instagram, what it was like to be a stylist. And I had a lot of people come up to me saying, how do I get into this? How do I get into fashion? And the fashion industry is very gatekept. No one wants to share information on how to get into the path, where to get clothes from, all of the aspects of the job. So I had to learn a lot on my own. And when people would ask me, I did not want to be that person that was, really gatekeeping. And, we don't like gatekeepers. So I started sharing the information, and word got around that I was, yapping and, telling everything, spilling all the tea on the industry. So it got to the point where so many people were asking me how to get into fashion, how to get into styling. It got to the point where I just had a copy and paste response. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to make a blog so I could redirect everybody to that, right? And so that blog, within a year, I was hosting panels of my own. I was speaking at fashion schools in person, and I started doing these workshops on what to do when you get on a photo shoot set, how to steam, how to do the job of a stylist, because again, there's no school that teaches this. And so with my following on social media growing, I had people from other countries asking, oh, well, I can't make it to LA, but can you do something online? So I started in the online course space, which was very new to me. And that started my expansion as well. So fast forward, we've been in business for 7 years now, and I've expanded the operations from just doing classes in LA, in New York, and started doing international. So last year I did my first course in Paris, which is the fashion capital, of course, and looking for more expansion as well. So that's where we're currently at. And I love how the ladies mentioned their growth and how they're turning into evolving into media companies and involving other aspects. So now I'm combining my love for fashion and travel and turning it into something bigger than I could have ever imagined when I first started.
Wow, amazing. Brittany, who knows? Probably you can find some talented interns from our FEM community for your
Yes.
international expansion,
I'm looking. Where are my fashion girls?
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And just to circle back to that point that Léonie mentioned about, like, when you're in school, you watch different films and you're dreaming about, probably I should be a lawyer, or probably I should step into fashion world, etc., etc. So the question is to all is how to recognize what a particular field is truly your. Like, do you remember that your moment when you feel like, this is what I meant to do? Like, how to choose it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I went to school. I very similar. I loved a lot of things and I had no idea. And so after in high school, I played a lot of sports. I really enjoyed sports. I also did like events. I liked being on my feet. I kind of had to be on my feet because I had a lot of energy. And so I thought, okay, maybe sports and event industry, that could be cool. So in college, I was studying that. I was studying sport and event management. And I had this internship at an arena and they were doing basketball there. So I had the opportunity to work a Dolly Parton concert and I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't really think about music. I was doing sports. So I go in, I'm about 19 years old, and you see a completely empty arena, no chairs, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, you get 20 trucks that come in, 10 buses, tour buses, and they're just unloading road case after road case and building this entire set. And then you see the stage and the screens and the audio, and there are people up in the rafters hanging things and rigging things. And then I'm coughing today. I'm sorry. Gosh. And so then they lay out all the seats and then, I'm here. I'm literally this far away from Dolly Parton, who I'm a big country music fan. Is anyone here country music fan? Let's throw up some hearts. Let's go. And so I was losing my mind and she goes, "Hey, darling, how are you?" And I was like, "Good." Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I go, "Good luck tonight." She goes, "Oh, thank you, honey." And I was like, no way. So anyways, watch the show, then the loadout, and everyone tears everything down, goes back to an empty arena by 2 a.m. Everyone's on a bus. They do it again the next night in the next city. And so that was the spark. I stopped caring about all sports. I stopped watching sports. I could literally care less about sports right now. That was that moment of, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I think if any time, and you guys might not feel it for a couple years, whenever you feel like, oh my gosh, this is like it's burning in your mind. Oh my gosh, I have to do that. I want to do it. You have to do it. Figure out any way to do it. So I would recommend those next steps are to find mentors. The mentors don't have to be anyone super special. It can seriously be, it can be a parent. Parents are special. It could be one of your parents. It could be a teacher. It could be someone that gets you to the next person who's in the industry that wants to take you under their wing. If you have a couple of mentors, you are for sure going to get the right advice to go, so they encouraged me to move to Nashville right away, not knowing anyone, how to get involved, how to start meeting the right people. And so as soon as you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to do that, and I see, what is your job? My job is I own a tech company, and well, it's a whole bunch of different things now. I don't even know what to say, but I own a company called Gigs, which is like LinkedIn for the industry, but also media company. When I was out on the road touring, I don't think I mentioned it, I was a production assistant or a tour manager's assistant. So basically would go in and manage all of the crew. We had 100 people on the crew, work with the artist and the routing and the hotels and the venue and just kind of doing a bunch of things. So anyways, just to sum up all those things, if you feel this crazy feeling like, oh my gosh, that's it, I have to do that, you have got to do it. Don't ever put it aside because it's burning in there for a reason.
Can I add on to that, Nikki? So I promised I wouldn't say piggyback during this during this call, but to add to that, when you have a passion, and listen, there's going to be times along your journey when you question yourself, you're like, should I keep going? Is this even working out? Is this even worth it? There will be times of doubt, no matter what industry you're in. But if that idea and that passion, it keeps coming back to you and you keep thinking of new ways to innovate in your field, then that means that you are on the right path and you are meant to be on that path that you're currently on. So if the idea can't leave your head, then that definitely is a sign that you should continue going in your field. And
yeah. No, so of course, like I have a career platform where I help women find their career in finance, right? And then you also already figure out, hey, maybe a career in finance is for me. But then finance is still super broad. And I think also fashion is super broad. Like everything is super broad. So it starts with really, okay, where does your interest lie? Indeed, when you're watching a series or you're talking to people and think, oh, wow, she or he is doing that. That energizes me. Then the next step is really diving into it. And I think that is the most, the nicest thing about like today's economy is everyone is on TikTok, Instagram, explaining different industries. So start following accounts, different companies that post jobs, that talk about different careers and really think, hey, does this resonate with my own interests? And if it does resonate, maybe even send them a DM. Hey, love what you're doing. Could we maybe have a chat? And that's indeed how you find mentors outside of your own bubble. And I think that's also what's nice, because you just asked, or someone asked, I think Anastasia asked about our Instagram accounts. Super smart, because I think you're at the age where you don't have a LinkedIn yet. Then social media is the place to explore and think about, hey, is this something I find interesting? Because at university, you learn a lot, but it's still not real life. So I think talking to a lot of like entrepreneurs, is if that is your career path right now, or following people in finance, media, business, etc., will really help you figure out which career is for you.
It's super cool. And I just for a second put like gallery view, just actually it's not also. And anyway, so what I want to mention is just like feel free to make some stories and tag speakers and also FEM accounts. And then yeah, so you know, like communication is continue to continue online, also on Instagram. Oh, so I will be back to speaker mode. Just try to show all the participants, but somehow Zoom don't show all 70 people who's with us online. But girls, like, give us some reactions. How do you like the speech? Some parts, amazing. So, and just to continue talking about entrepreneurial path, yes, like, can you advise how to start own business? Should like is it better to gain some experience working for someone else, or jump straight in and learn by doing? What's the best strategy you can recommend? Let's start.
So I can take this one. So I would definitely recommend making mistakes on someone else's dime when you first start out, because there will be mistakes. So learning under somebody who has already done what you aspire to do is extremely valuable. Now, with that said, when it comes to a business, I went to solely fashion schools. I never took a single business related class in my life. So I kind of jumped in not knowing, with no life jacket. And so I jumped into the deep end of entrepreneurship, and I figured out a lot of things along the way on my own that would have been much more of a smooth road had I worked under somebody who was in the business mindset already. I worked under fashion people, but not necessarily business. So when it came to LLCs and taxes and all the unglamorous stuff, it would have been really helpful to have somebody else in my corner to guide me there. But it was a lot of me figuring it out and say, okay, I actually don't know this stuff, and I need to hire people who are better at that thing than I am. So definitely beneficial to have people around you who are experts in the things that you are not, that are not in your zone of genius.
Yeah, maybe also to add to that. So I started right after graduation. So I didn't work for a company. I only did internships, and I actually already had secured my return offer. I know like I was going to get like a good job with a paycheck, etc. And then COVID hit. So we came with the idea of starting an own business. We were bored. I've always wanted to start my own business with my best friend, was living together with my best friend. But indeed, I always thought, no, I first have to have some years of experience, learn a bit more. But then my dad said, like, Leo, there are so many people that say they want to start a business, but eventually end up not doing it. And why? Because they have the golden change of working for a corporate. You're used to a salary. You're used to a certain standard. And a misconception about starting your business is that you get rich super soon. No, it takes time. You will fail. You will have to like learn from like your failures and your mistakes. Right now, you're a poor student, so you're used to having a poor lifestyle. Start the business right now. If you have a good idea right now you can start it. So then I was like, okay, Dad, everyone else around me says I'm crazy, but if you say so, I will do it. So I started right away. I do think that if I would have had a bit more experience beforehand, I would have made less mistakes. But in the end, you're gonna make the mistakes eventually, right? So maybe it takes a bit more time, but for me, this was the right thing to do. But I think there are pros and cons for both.
Totally, pros and cons. Yeah, I think something that is it's still some risk, but a little less risky is when you are young, work for a startup, because startups don't really have the they don't have the money to pay a lot of money for a very experienced person right off the bat. Like, I put all of my money into this company after I was working for about 6 or 7 years. And I had to hire so many interns, so many people fresh out of college or out of high school to help me with things because I couldn't afford an older adult in the workplace. But here's what's awesome about that. My current 22-year-old employee, who she was an intern when she was in college, and then I hired her right after. She is in rooms that she never would be able to be in rooms. Like, she is having very, very high up conversations with C-suite executives already because we're such a small startup. And so you working for a startup right at the beginning, it's like you get to do a million different jobs, figure out what you actually like in doing all the different ones because you're wearing a bunch of different hats. And then, if startup life isn't for you because it's a lot of work, then you work for some company or you start your own thing and then do all the hats again. But I definitely recommend right off the bat, a great thing to do is work for a startup because you're going to, again, be able to be like the chief marketing officer after like the first year potentially because you have equity. But then actually starting your own business, like I said before, no idea what I'm doing. Luckily, you guys have AI now. When I first started this, I was using a book to write my whole business model. So if you do have an idea for a business, anytime, whether it's now, whether it's in 5 or 10 years, make sure you actually fully write down, you can use AI, a business plan, because in that process, there are a million questions that come up of, okay, how are we going to make money? What does this look like? Because oftentimes people love the idea of starting this business and how they're going to market it and how it's going to be set apart because of the marketing. But actually, what is the core product? How is the core product and how you're charging really different from anything else on the market already? And then, yeah, write it all down and then also my last bit of advice here is talk to everyone possibly know, like mentors and different advisors, family, friends about the business, because each one in every different meeting will have a different question. So someone first asked you like, okay, how are you charging? How are you planning to make money? The next one asked, how do you deal with security and all the different, how do you vet all the different things? Someone will have a question that matters to them. Then you go home, you figure it out, you update your business plan, you figure that out, and then other people can help you figure out the different questions. So 2 things. 1, join a startup when you're young because you have less to lose and you have so much to gain. You never know which way a startup will go. Number 2, when you do start the company, because you just know you have a great idea, make sure you flesh it all out and know that you love the idea, because I swear there are going to be days where you don't love the idea. So you got to have that why, that mission that keeps you with it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Actually, I still have a lot of questions, and just to continue the previous answers, like how do you think, what are the main roles as a founder in business? And from your point of view, like let's talk about a little bit like leadership mindset. What does it mean to you personally? And how do you think like leadership mindset will evolve in the age of AI? But probably let's start with the founder's role, like key roles as a founder, and like more than like leadership mindset. Let's start with Léonie.
So the question is, right, what is a leadership mindset for me?
Yes, and key roles as a founder, like what's the biggest responsibilities, like?
Yeah. I think like what I really learned is to really like stick to your vision. I think that also comes a bit to maybe the question also in the chat, like how do you know like it's the right thing? I think for me, I'm still very open also to my team, is indeed also what Nikki said. I don't know what I'm doing. It's my first time starting a company. I have no clue what I'm doing. So I think leadership is also really showing vulnerability and asking people for help. So they also feel like they have a say in the company. We always like it. This is also from a book, but we do with the team stop, start, continue, where you ask the team, okay, if you would lead a company today, what should you stop? What should you start? And what should you continue? And therefore, like you're continuously also involving your team in like the decision making and in your company, and they really feel like part of that vision. And I think leadership is really setting like the dot on the horizon, but being open to the paths towards it. And I think, yeah, that is, I think, the main answer that I have. Like, if you start a business, you can do everything yourself. I think that's also what Brittany says. Like, you need to hire people to do the job for you. And you should focus on, you should just make sure that you're like going towards your vision. And I think that is the one thing a leader should do.
Definitely. I love that. I just wrote that down to talk about it with my team. Stop, start, continue. Love that. Thank you. I think everything really comes down to the way that you are actually confident with yourself. If you are projecting confidence, even if you're still insecure inside, if you find, what are your core values, what keeps you going, where does your confidence come from? Is it from what you do? Is it who you are? What is that? Like really try to get to the core of where that confidence can come from and then just own it. The way that I've always wanted to lead is like just with humility and with like I've worked for a million different bosses and I've gotten horrible bosses where they don't say thank you and they don't understand your value, what you're really doing for them. And so I think one thing I wanted to do when I became a boss was you can never say thank you enough. You can never highlight someone for the work that they did enough. And just showing people how much you care about them will make them excited to work with you and further your goal. But I think leadership, even if you're just working alone, it's just you need to embody the mission of the company that you start or that you're working for. So if I were to sell this vision, so I've raised $1.4 million from investors. I had to be able to explain why I do this job, what led me to it, and what the company is in one sentence, like really mastering it so people know exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and why do they want to give me money? Why do they want to trust me? They have to feel that passion. And again, that's where the confidence comes from. If you don't have confidence, you're not going to pitch your company well. So make sure you figure out where does that confidence come from? Make sure it's not external. It's coming from you and how, you show up for yourself. And confidence and humility and giving everyone else all the credit. Even if you're doing a million things, everyone knows you're doing a million things. You're the founder, but everyone else is helping you get there.
Nikki, but it sounds like you have to learn a lot about some like art of speaking, like marketing skills, sales skills, how to sell your idea to investors. Probably what's like to adding, Brittany, we will come to you now, but what's the core pillar of this leadership, not only mindset, but also skill set?
Yeah.
To
Practical
develop,
skills
to build.
of leadership. Yeah. That's a really amazing question. I think if you're starting up a company in like founder space, the number one skill to have that I had to learn, because I don't have this naturally, is sales, is understanding the right way to position this. But again, in order to be a good salesperson, you have to believe everything. You can't just be saying, yeah, this, I think sales is huge. If you have the opportunity in high school, in college and in university to study sales at some point, I cannot recommend that enough because I don't like sales and I had to learn. So how to sell, again, I just think the confidence path, not because someone else gives you that confidence, because you found it yourself. and you can walk alone, and you know, oh, and then the last one that I know Léonie and Brittany and Julia have all learned is resilience. And I don't think you truly get resilience until you're just beaten down so many times. And in a business, any job you have, when you're working for someone else, you fail, you do something wrong, you feel like you're just on the bathroom floor crying. It's going to happen so many times in your life, and no one prepares you for it. So here's me telling all of you guys, you're gonna fail a lot. And resilience is the most beautiful and hard. That's like what the growing pain means. Like, it's very painful to actually feel yourself growing. And the more times you stand back up after you're put on the ground, the more times you're going to actually get confident in yourself, because you know you're standing back up and you're proud of yourself. That's how I get my confidence, honestly, is like, oh no, I was down bad last week, but I got back up. I'm here. I showed up. That's where my confidence comes from.
Yeah, I am big in
Actually,
life mottos,
sorry.
and one of my motto is, for every door that closes,
Ooh.
I'm coming back to buy the freaking building.
Yes. I actually posted on Instagram a caption that I have gotten kicked down, rejected, said no's more times than you have even gotten back up and tried to do the thing, because people see, you know, the shiny, glamorous part of what we do on Instagram. They see the entrepreneurship, they see the Forbes accolades, but they don't know all the pain and all the struggles and all the things that we had to get through to get to that point. So, you know, resilience is super important, getting back up. And a part of that getting back up is remembering your why. So I don't know, everybody on here is pretty young, but there is a TED Talk by someone called Simon Sinek, and I highly advise everyone to take the time to watch it. He talks about your why and realizing why you even started. And that's going to be the thing that you keep in the back of your mind when those times get tough. Because trust me, virtual show of hands, has anybody seen or heard of The Devil Wears Prada? Yes. So the fashion industry is pretty much like that, right? And so you're going to encounter a lot of Miranda Priestleys, a lot of people who think they could talk down on you. And you have to remember why you started in the fashion industry, or why you started in your industry in the first place, because there's always going to be Miranda Priestleys in finance, in fashion, in the music industry. So you have to stay true to yourself and remember what the vision is that got you started. So for me personally, people never believe me, but I'm such an introvert. And you know, there's people who they look at me and they see me quietly working when I'm on set, when I'm with a client, and they think, oh, I can, you know, like talk to her any type of way. But when they realize, you know, what I've accomplished or what I've done, then they want to be my best friend. And it's like, okay, no, keep that same energy that you had in the beginning when you thought I was like a nobody, right? So for me, you know, there's strength in keeping true to yourself and just putting your head down, doing the work, and not, you know, engaging with any drama, regardless of what that looks like. So keeping that vision clear as to why you started and where your end goal is. You don't have to tell everybody and bring their energy into your goals, but just have that in the back of your head.
Cool, thank you. Léonie?
Yes.
Just would you like to add something to about like leadership mindset and skills for now?
No, I think, right, we covered all three the questions, so I think we can go on to the next.
Okay, and then for now, I have still some few questions to speakers, but girls, if you have some questions, please drop them in chat now. So I will go with like 2 last questions from my side, and then I will take a look for the chat, and I will switch to open mic. So like probably someone can just ask our brilliant mind speakers directly. So just to continue with my latest questions, how you harness the power of AI in your work, and how AI empower your like leadership and how do you see the future in the AI era?
Yeah, I personally love AI because I think it's such a great tool to help me do so much more quicker than I ever would be able to. For example, I have we have this idea as a company right now to go the academy route, or online courses, and actually training people, because nothing exists online yet, to train people how to be lighting, audio, video, hospitality, makeup artists, like everything that works backstage. There is no online course for that, so we want to create it. That's a huge undertaking. How I hated school, okay? It was not for me. I did fine, but I didn't like it. So what am I doing creating a school, basically? So I go to ChatGPT and I do the voice to dictate, and I just talk to it all day long. And I'm just talking about the dreams, and here's what the first course could look like, and the second, and help me understand how this goes and that goes. And then boom, it spits out a whole plan. And so, I think you can take your dreams, it helps you see it on paper, and then you can iterate from there. I don't think it's ever going to take away our full creativity. I really don't. I think it's how we use it well. And that just saved me so much time. And it helped me understand, oh, okay, here's how we can actually structure this. And here are the other tools we can use to do this. Great. Whenever I get a contract from my lawyer, I put it into ChatGPT and I'm like, see if there's anything missing for me. ChatGPT tells me, and then I get to send it back to my lawyer and I give some notes. And he's like, good job. I'm like, wasn't me. I didn't go to law school. I never will. So I think if you just use it for your benefit like that, as a tool, and really know how to use it well, to enhance your own creativity and your own thoughts, you have to do it. You got to get on board. And you guys are already so much further ahead than most generations on technology in general. So, start with easy. Like, I have pasta and mushrooms and a spaghetti squash. What should I make tonight? It's starting really slow with that, and then getting into actually, like, how do you make your dreams a reality using AI? That's all I have to say there.
Yeah, I think for me as well. I think also, Brittany or Nikki, you started with, indeed, when we were starting out, we had to make a business model. Yeah, we didn't have AI. And I think just like using ChatGPT is already like a miracle for any founder, because from starting your business to having difficult feedback conversations, it helps me with literally everything. Like, it's my best friend. And also right now, because our company is continuously also like in transition, we're pivoting right now also the media company, but I have a finance background. I have no clue how to pitch to brands. I think like my first conversation with a brand, they were like, okay, but how will it look like? I was like, I thought it was just fun to have an event together. I don't know. Let me circle back to you. And the first thing I did was, okay, ask ChatGPT, what does a media company look like? But also, I think the more specific your questions are, the more helpful it can be. So not like what will a media company look like, but also which companies have the most money to spend on this. And in order to reach those companies, what type of content do I need to make? So really make it super specific. The more specific you are, the better value you will get out of like AI.
Absolutely. The more information that is custom to your business or to whatever it is that you need help with from chat, it will help you all the better. So at first, I feel like because we are, slightly different generation removed from Gen Z, I'm like, I don't know about putting all my personal information in this computer, but it has been so beneficial when you feed it information that is specific to you, because it can help you flesh out things. I recently did a virtual 8-week program for my fashion mentor company called the Stylist Summer Camp. And chat helped me flesh out my slides, my content, the homework assignments, what rubric to go by. So everything from the complex to fleshing out an entire program to even the more simple. For example, there was a photo in my camera roll from when I was last in London in Chelsea, and there was this beautiful sweater code combination thing that I could not get out of my head. Mind you, this is like a year ago. So I put the photo into chat and I said, can you find me what brand this is? Like I saw it in the window, but I didn't get the chance to get it. And so it couldn't find me the exact one, but it found similar brands like Mara and like, you know, brands from different budget points. So even using it for your shopping and for your styling, like what can I wear, you know, with this pair of jeans and 5 ways to wear these pairs of jeans. So you can definitely use chat to your advantage in so many different ways. And I don't believe that it will ever fully replace humans, but to Nikki's point, I love the word that you use, enhancement. It could definitely bring out the ideas that maybe you're not able to articulate, or maybe you're not able to fully see the full rounded perspective. And chat can offer that to you regardless of your industry.
And we have a question from Yasha. She is asking like how to develop these ideas for business, and is it fair to use AI for that?
Yes,
100%.
it's like a calculator. Are you going to do long division with the symbol? No, we're going to use a calculator because that exists. And so it's just using the tools. Is it fair if I'm a songwriter and I create all of my music using AI and it's not even my voice, it's not even me playing guitar? I don't think so. I mean, I think again, that takes away all creativity. But if something can help you, you're like, man, I have this idea for this thing and I love it and let's talk through it. And then it builds a plan. And then you're like, tell me about all the different competitors. And then it tells you about the competitors. You're like, well, how am I different? And it kind of can help you understand how you could position differently and then come up with a plan for that. Knowing again that not everything on chat or on whatever you use is always right. And so you always have to be the human to discern that. But fairness, absolutely. I think your generation, especially, if you guys figure out really, really how to use this AI tool very well, prompting it the right way. And I don't mean to bring this up again, but this is how I was introduced to it first, just a couple years ago, was like, you tell it, hey, I want to make some lasagna tonight. And so you say how to make lasagna. It tells you. Then you go, okay, I want to make lasagna for kids. So how let me make it with my kids. So how do I do that? It tells you. Or and then you go, okay, make it. I want a lasagna recipe from a Michelin star restaurant, like amazing restaurant. And it changes it. So again, like it's how you prompt it. So sometimes I say, okay, you are a marketing expert. How am I going to get the most clicks to open up my email with the subject line? You are the expert here. Help me out. And so again, it's how you prompt it. If you guys can really master that, AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, but there are going to be so many jobs that are created because of it. For example, I do believe that every single company is going to have an AI position where if you are really good at AI and setting up that chat and to program it for that company, you're going to have a great job. So yeah, definitely learn it.
Yeah. Anyone would like to add anything to this point? Or we
I'd
can.
like to add something really quick to what you said, which is so important, that chat is not always 100% accurate, and you have to know your stuff. So don't fully depend on chat, because if you're not paying attention, you might, you know, notice something that's incorrect. And I have a specific example that happened last week to me. I was developing a fashion quiz for my students, and forgot what exactly the question was, but it said something about Marc Jacobs. Oh, it was the question is name 3 creative directors from Gucci. Tom Ford, Alessandro Michele, and then it said Marc Jacobs, and I was like, Marc Jacobs never worked for Gucci. And so I'm about to like fashion geek out for a moment. Marc Jacobs was Louis Vuitton, and we need to correct that. So I had to tell chat, make sure that you are cross-checking your references and your resources, because I cannot, like, if I was just solely depending on chat and if I didn't fully know my industry, then I would have gone with that. But I was like, Marc Jacobs was not a part of Gucci ever. So I had to check chat on that. So make sure that you actually know your stuff. And again, just use chat as like an assistant, as a resource, and not your end all be all, because it does make mistakes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know any of that. Very cool fashion knowledge.
Yeah,
I got you.
I was at one event on Friday on Google, and one expert from Google said like that we have to train ourselves as fast as we train AI. So just to keep up with space and to be, but yeah, just there are a lot of questions. I will just choose some of them and then try to answer as much as possible. And very, I think, like important question is how to rest and recover well, and how can you avoid burnout? Do you have any advices or systems how to, to always keep your energy?
Yes.
Brittany, do you want to start it?
Yeah, I am, if I may say so myself, the self-care queen. Not self-proclaimed, by the way. So I make it a priority to take care of myself because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So I have experienced burnout before, and it is not fun. Like there have been times where, fashion is my life. I hope I've imparted that on everyone, but there's been times where I'm like, I don't want to hear anything about Project Runway. I don't want to see any magazines. I don't want to see anything regarding fashion because I was just so exhausted and got into that point. And part of that was me not asking for help and doing everything in my business by myself at a certain point before I learned the lesson that it's better to delegate. And so I overexhausted myself to a point where I did not even want to see anything regarding to my fashion anymore. So learning how to bring people in who can do the job and not spreading yourself too thin. So I used to wear this badge of honor of doing everything myself, hustling, being up till 4 a.m. And I realized that no one is winning in that situation. And so learning to take a step back, and there is power in being able to have a team and having people help you. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the eldest sister. I'm an Aries, so I'm very like independent, and I could prove I could do it all myself. But the thing is, you don't have to. And that was the biggest lesson I've learned as an entrepreneur is you don't have to carry the load on yourself. So let people help you is my biggest lesson I've learned.
And when you don't have enough money to pay people to help you, what do you do? So that's where I was for a while. And I think your body always tells you. And I really want to get this out. This is like a separate thing from burnout. Your body will always, especially as girls, we have this superpower that men do not have. When you meet someone and just something feels a little off, or you aren't acting like yourself, it's not you, it's them. I swear to you. If you are talking to someone and you're like being all awkward or shy or weird, you're like, that's not me. It's how they're making you feel. I promise you, I've had to learn this over years. And if you meet someone, you go into business with them, maybe I take on investor money, or maybe we do a deal together, whatever it is. And then they ultimately end up totally screwing me over or doing something shady. And we as women will always go, I knew it. There was always something. You're gonna have to fail a few times in this, but try to listen to that first thing of like, there's just something not totally there. It's always right. That is your intuition. Women, that is our special power. So in terms of burning out and working too much, and burnout, actually, the definition of burnout, which an advisor just told me this, is working so hard and not seeing the result that you expect. And so burnout isn't, I've just been working for 3 weeks straight. You can work for 3 weeks straight and really be accomplishing things and feeling great. But then you work for maybe 5 days, if things didn't really go as you wanted it to, and you're just like, I'm out of here. Like, I just don't have any energy. I have no motivation to actually go check my email, whatever it is. And so if things aren't producing the way you think they are, take a quick break off. I was in the hospital. Actually, the last time I was in LA, I was in the hospital. I went to the hospital like 4 or 5 times this year, y'all, because I was so past burnout and anxiety and stress, and I put all of the pressure on me. Even though I have a team and I have employees, I put so much of it on me instead of sharing it with other people and asking. And that's the vulnerability piece that Léonie was saying. It's like, this is hard, and we have to share, hey, I'm struggling. This is really hard for me. A lot of pressure. can you guys take some of this pressure off of me? And they're like, yeah, that's the whole point of this. We're here for you. How can we help? And so just pay attention again to your body. Why was I going to the hospital? Because my body was giving up on me. It's like, enough of this. Like, this is not okay. So always listen to your body, that intuition, gut feeling, and then your exhaustion and stress too.
Yeah. And I think that's also a nice hook, because I'm also right now reading through like all the other questions also in the chat. I think it's a lot about like putting pressure on yourself, right? And then continuously feeling like that you're failing. So I also see like, how can I start my dream right now? What profession are best right now? I also got a direct message like, I want to do this. What should I do now? It's a lot of like now, but you should also realize that what energizes you now might not energize you in 2 years' time. So I always like, my best advice always just like, go with the flow and continuously like challenge yourself, but don't punish yourself. Because if you start punishing yourself, then you would also like start feeling more stressed, and then you can create burnout. And I think one of the things I am still learning is like enjoying the path towards it, right? Instead of continuously focusing on the end goal. I think that is what I am right now also. In like, since I was young, I was always like, I'm ambitious, I want to make money, I want this amazing career, and continuously focusing on, I want that, but not thinking about like, okay, but what I'm doing now, am I healthy, am I happy, do I have like my family, etc. So I think all those things, and really also being able to live into the now, will eventually help you to enjoy the path towards your end goal more, and also be more happy in the moment. So also right now, I think you can already be so proud of yourself that you're in high school, you're in this call. That already means you're making the first step towards your dream career, because not a lot of people from your age are already putting time and effort in joining calls like this. So I hope that like, if you end this call, it's not about, okay, I need to start working and I'm stressed because like I need to end up there. No, be present, be proud of yourself for being here, and start your journey and enjoy that journey. I think, yeah,
I love
that's
that so much.
what I really
Wow.
want to say. Yeah.
I saw a question in here that I feel like we all should answer. I saw what piece of advice would you give your younger self? I feel like that what you just said is a lot to that. I feel like mine is very simple, is just always choose the harder thing to do. It's sometimes super easy when you have your first couple jobs, whatever it is, you're gonna pick, maybe I'll stay living here, or whatever decisions. I would always recommend choosing the harder path. When you start working out in the mornings and, I don't know, being really disciplined in different areas of your life, doing the harder thing always produces better fruit later. And then again, you show up for yourself. Going to the gym in the morning, don't want to go that early, but then after I do, I feel good. I feel proud of myself. I kept true to my word. And then when you choose the harder job, you are going to grow. Again, growing pains are awful, awful. But whatever you are going through it, just pat yourself on the back, because you're doing that for yourself, and knowing that that is only going to make your future self so proud of you too.
I'd say my advice to my younger self, especially when I was starting Fashion Mentor, as I mentioned, everything about the fashion industry, people don't like to share advice out of this scarcity mindset that someone's going to take their position or take a client or whatever the case might be. So I actually received a lot of pushback from my fellow fashion stylists when I started Fashion Mentor as an education platform. They would say things like, oh, why are you giving away the keys? Why are we had to struggle to learn what we know. Why would you just put it in a blog post so they could easily learn this information? And so my advice would be to block out the noise and stay true to your vision. And I say that because not only was I receiving pushback, but people didn't believe in me. People did not support me until they started seeing the success. And then when they started seeing, okay, Forbes, Fashion Magazine, InStyle Magazine, then it's like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I always believed in you. And it's like, you were not there for me when I first started. And I always remember that. I was on that journey alone in the beginning because people were scared to be a part of something like that. So just maintaining your integrity and your vision despite lack of support, because I did not receive much support when I first started. The support came after, when people wanted to join the bandwagon and be, oh yeah, I always knew you were going to do that, but I remember. I remember. So keep going despite, even if you don't have the support that you want or need when you start out.
Yeah. Léonie?
Yeah. Do you want me to answer another question or the same
No,
question?
I mean, like the same, first of all, it's the same. Like,
Yeah, well, I think indeed, like I started right with like the advice I would really give myself, younger self, but also still the advice I would give myself right now is to just enjoy the journey and don't fixate too much on the end goal. I think that's what I'm still learning and saying every day to myself again, okay, what can you be proud of? What are you going to do today? Instead of continuously fixating on, I need to do this, that, and that. And I think it's the same with like going to the gym. And then if you set a target at the beginning of the week, I need to go 5 times to the gym. And then at the end of the week, you went 4 times. You can feel disappointed. Shit, I didn't go 5 times. Or you can say, well, I did an amazing job. I went 4 times to the gym. I'm feeling healthy. I am healthy. So don't be too harsh on yourself and you will get there. And also just indeed do what feels right now, because I think a lot of people are over fixating on, okay, what is my dream job? What should be my dream job? What should my next career move be? But then they end up being stuck in their thought process. Because I know so many people that say, oh my God, you have your own business. I would love to have an own business. But then they eventually never start their own business because they're just stuck in their head overthinking. So stop overthinking and start doing. And I think that is my advice to you.
Love it.
amazing.
Analysis paralysis is a real
Yeah.
thing. Don't
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We are slightly running out of time, and can I just ask the very final question from my side? And I think like it's quite important question, as we are FEM community and we are sharing the same values of women empowerment. The question is like, from your perspective, what is the greatest strength of women entrepreneurs and leaders? What is the biggest power we can harness and use in everyone's journey?
I think, sorry, I'm going to lose the thought if I don't say it right now. I believe that leadership is inspiring other people to lead. So if you, again, find that confidence from within, for me, it's my faith. It's my faith in God. It's my, showing up for myself, all of those things. If you have that ability, that leadership ability and the leadership position, I think your whole job and responsibility is to pull other people up to feel confident to do it too. If they're succeeding more than you, good job. You inspired them to do that. They won't, because you're gonna do much better than. But anyways, all this to say, I really think it's your responsibility as a leader to pull other people up, make them feel comfortable. Don't ever, as I was saying, you go up to someone and then you feel kind of awkward talking to them. They make you feel a little weird. Always be the person that makes them feel so good when they left, because they feel important, they feel seen, and they feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I can do that, because they're doing it and they're so nice that like they're here to help me. You don't need to take on everyone's burdens. You just, just with your presence and with your leadership role or whatever it is your responsibility to make other people feel like they can also be leaders.
That's so powerful. And as women, we have this intuition and this inner guidance that men don't have. Nikki, you touched on that a little bit earlier, but lean into that. Don't ignore that voice. If your voice is saying something about a certain person or a business decision or a school decision, then lean into that and listen to it, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, oh, I knew that. I should have done that. But, we sometimes deny ourselves that. So lean into that, as well as we have empathy. That's another trait that I believe makes us more powerful, is being able to see from that other person's perspective and putting ourselves in that other person's shoes. So as women, we really do have superpowers that the men do not have, and definitely leaning into those natural things for us.
Yeah, and I think also, like, I agree with all what you're saying. And I think one of the most important things that I always say to myself, like, women are still underrepresented in leadership roles. So if you are that women in a leadership role, empower other women to lead as well. And I think, unfortunately, we still see, especially like the older generation, they feel like, I fought for this place, you also should fight for it. No, I genuinely believe that comes back to confidence and empowerment. Empowered women empower women. So always make sure that even if you had a hard time to getting to the position, to getting into a leadership position, help others to come there too, because it has been hard for you. Let's make it easier for others to come to that position, because in the end, we need more women on leadership positions. And I really hope, and I not hope, I know you will get there too.
Mm.
And
And
your
I'd like to
empathy
end
is
with a
not a
quote by
weakness. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
no, no, you're good.
Your
I'd like
empathy
to
is
end with
not
a
a
quote
weakness.
by
Oh, go ahead. I'll stop. I'm muting myself.
by a powerful woman, Dr. Maya Angelou. Um, People will forget what you said. You might forget everything that we said on this call, but you will not forget how we made you feel, whether that was inspired, whether that was motivated. So that's one thing that I carry with me as well in my how I carry myself in the world and in business is, how you make other people feel says a lot about you. Do you make them feel empowered, or do you make them feel like, oh, I'm not good enough? So even if we are, we have these accomplishments and these accolades, it's all about empowering the next person and showing them by example that you can do this too. And you don't have to be a Miranda Priestley to become successful. You can lead with kindness as well. So that's what I wanted to add to my statement.
Absolutely. And you don't have to act like a boy or a man to be successful either. There really is like, I think women and men do business differently. You see women-led businesses and male-led businesses, they do things differently. Women are often better with managing the money. Men are often more likely to take more risks. There's not one that's better or worse than the other, but as I started becoming so masculine and being like, "Rrr," and then I was like, I'm such a girl. Like, I'm gonna be a girl and run this business. I'm gonna have my empathy. Like, I always think, whatever. The way that you run it, just be so yourself and you will get the respect. And if you don't be in business with that person. Go away from them if you're not getting that respect. Keep doing you. Okay. I'm going off the rails now.
So, wow, it's actually you're great leaders and exceptional leaders, and just Brittany mentioned like about this feeling, how a person feel after communication. And I sincerely want to say that thank you so much for making us today feeling inspired. It was really like thought-provoking discussion, and I think like there is a lot of things and ideas to thinking about, and there are a lot of questions, but I see that we are already running out of time, and I can assume that you have a lot of what to do. So thank you so much, dear Brittany, Nikki, Léonie. It was super inspiring. It was super insightful, and it's so powerful in terms of energy, because your energy is something absolutely special. Huge thank you, and girls, please give some reactions. How do you like today's event?
Thank you everyone for your time. That's a really big deal to spend over an hour talking, just listening too. So thank you guys. And I just saw a message. I just have to answer this real quick. You say be yourself, but what if I don't know who myself is? You will change your whole lives, and it is so normal to not fully know that yet. So don't freak out about that. I think, but also spend some time journaling and talk to ChatGPT, talk to AI to be like, can you prompt me with questions to really understand like my values, what I care about and that thing, but also give yourself some time because you are going to figure it out through experiences and through years of life too. I'm done.
Beautifully said.
Super.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I think you can be very proud of yourself taking the time. I hope you all learned a lot. And this is the start of a lot of learning. So good luck with that, and maybe on to a next session.
I think I will come to you later, and will ask for separate session with you, as there were a lot of questions to all our speakers today, and it's not possible to unveil all of them within 1 hour framework. But yeah, and also just a small announcement: we are going to launch another FEM Online program with mentors and speakers soon. So I just dropped the link in this Zoom chat. So just girls, pay attention. I also will send it in WhatsApp later. Just stay tuned. We are cooking now on some like leadership program with mentors, which is something like more deep program. But yeah, once again, I'm endlessly thankful for your time, your energy, and sharing with us your experience and ideas and vision. It's absolutely powerful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And keep in touch. If anybody has any questions, connect with us on Instagram, LinkedIn, if you haven't, and ask us any questions that you like.
It was actually my second question about like, would it be possible to ask for some mentoring session with our community members? But probably I will come back to you in emails.
Yeah, definitely DM us Instagram too.
And
yeah,
yes,
awesome.
they're all just please follow our speakers, likes, comment on their posts, and keep engaged, because a lot of inspiration from everyday content. As I follow Nikki, Brittany, and Léonie, and there is always like this when you start the day, open Instagram, and if you use social, so use it as a tool for inspiration and getting some energy to be inspired by it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for putting this together. This is awesome. Y'all are doing the best work of just, of empowering young women. Let's go. I love it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.